Hello, everybody. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. One more spiritual light today. As we announced, we have Guilherme as our special guest. And when Guilherme is here, of course, the subject is mediumship. Today, we're going to talk about mediumship and moral responsibility. What's the connection between moral and mediumship? So, I want to say thank you, Guilherme, for your time. Thank you for being here with us. You are more than welcome. And good evening, Elsa. How are you, my dear?
Hello, Stevan. Hi, Guilherme. Hi, Charles. Yes, I'm okay. I'm very happy as usual. Every week we are here bringing some subject that the people like to talk, to think, or fear and want to know more. And we are here to learn together. So welcome everyone, incarnated and discarnated ones.
Bonsoir, Charles.
Bonsoir, Steven. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Indeed, as Elsa just told, very interesting topic. Okay, mediumship. Oh, I'm a medium. Are you a medium? Okay, so what? What are the consequences of it? What shall we do with it? What for? So what? So we will try to clarify a little bit all this.
And good evening, Guilherme.
Good evening, everyone. I'm happy to be here again. I'm pleased for that opportunity, and hopefully, we'll be talking about some subjects that will be very interesting.
Thank you. Good evening to Faye. Faye is with us. Good evening, my dear. So, the little, my little introduction, it is, as we know, and we said it here many times, mediumship is a sacred faculty, not a privilege. With it comes moral responsibility. As Spiritism clarifies, the development of mediumship must align with inner reform, humility, and charity. This session will explore how mediums and those involved in Spiritist work can responsibly navigate their role. So, I like to kick off the discussion here. Let's go. Let's do the first question to Charles, because then I need this introductory part from Charles. Then I'm gonna ask a question for Guilherme, and I say, Charles, what is the purpose of mediumship in the context of Spiritism teachings?
Mediumship is really key. It's a root. There would not be Spiritism without mediumship. Okay. So as we can even extend this statement as saying there would not be any religion or spiritual movement without mediumship, isn't it? So the mediumship is just a natural faculty. So it's linked to the physical body. So there are some people who come on earth, are born mediums, other not, or not. When we say not, everyone is medium because we all have intuition, inspiration, these soft forms of mediumship. But the forms of mediumship which are more, how to say, open, more obvious to see externally, those are generally selected before reincarnation. So there has been mediums all along the millenniums who passed away, be the Egyptian or with the Greeks, with Jesus, around all Christianship, even with the Jewish in Middle Age, where the witches were burnt because of mediumship and so on until today. So this is just a confirmation that it's a natural phenomenon. Okay. So what Kardec really brought is a scientific way to observe and to study the mediumistic faculty. Okay. So what is it exactly? What are the laws governing this mediumship? He started talking about writing about it, better saying, in the book, Spirit's book, and then he made a complete treaty a couple of years later, 1861, which is the Medium's book. And up to now, for me, it is still the most comprehensive, most complete book on the subject, and really highly advisable for everyone to read, in particular the mediums. Okay. So with regards to the morality, I think that may be your next questions. You have it's linked to the physical body. We don't know yet how and what. There is no diagnosis able saying this one is medium, that one not. There are some theories about it, but yet to be confirmed that it could be linked to the pineal gland. But nothing confirmed nowadays. So the researchers and investigation have to continue on this subject. But since it's linked to the body, you have good people who are medium and you have bad people who are medium as well. So that's exactly the subject we develop a little bit more today. What if the medium is good? What if the medium is bad, morally speaking?
Thank you, Charles. Great introduction. I need that introduction because, Guilherme, how does a medium's motor condition affect the quality of spiritual communication?
Well, Stevan, before I jump into the subject, I would like to make a contribution to what Charles said. In the recent past, Loops, a group of scientists back in Brazil, they were able to isolate part of the DNA that were common amongst mediums. So yes, we're still far away from a final decision or a final study to say that's it, but people are investing to identify what are common among people that we call mediums. And it seems that mediums who had a higher degree of sensitivity, they could be all linked to something on the DNA. So that's very interesting, opening possibilities for the future. So something that I like in particular a lot on the Spiritism is the scientific side of Spiritism. And I truly believe it has to move hand to hand with the other parts of the movement. Otherwise, we'll be leaving something very important behind. Regarding your question, the communication itself will not have anything specific linked to the moral of the medium. Because we have to remember that the communication, meaning writing or verbal, comes from the spirit. So the quality and the content of the message have nothing to do with the moral of the medium. The quality of the medium per se, or even better, the characteristics of the medium will ensure a kind of support he or she will have. If we ask to you, like, who you are, some people may say, well, look around him and you know people that are around him. So you have a good idea of his choices, his characteristics. On the spiritual world is the same. If we do have good actions, if we do have good choices in our day-to-day, we will be surrounded by better spirits that we call enlightened spirits. That will give us the support, the safety, and the quality of the mediumistic work we may perform. But just to be sure, what I'm saying is the moral characteristics of the medium will give you the safety for the practice of mediumship. But the message itself, any message that may come through the medium, does not have a direct link with the medium moral elevation or not.
Okay, good. So we learned that the actions done by the medium may interfere in the quality of communication, in the quality of the spirits those mediums are bringing to the meeting.
I would say something a bit different than that.
Okay.
The moral quality of the medium will ascertain the support from the spiritual world he or she will be receiving to perform the mediumistic activity. The spirit that may talk through you doesn't matter if he has a higher degree of elevation, if he has a good moral or not. A good medium is like a tube, allowing the message to be received, and he will allow that to pass to whoever will receive the message, in writing or verbal. So if you are following the guidance, the teachings of the Spiritism, you will know what you should or you should not choose for your life. But that will give you better surroundings, if I may say like that. But the communicant spirit that may come through you may not have the same experiences nor same moral elevation. Actually, it is a problem in the spiritual world, on the Spiritism, because a lot of mediums are afraid to give the voice to spirits that are not that elevated. They are afraid because they don't want people to think that they are on the same level or the same degree of moral evolution as them. And then some mediums, they decide to block such a level of communication. But we need to ascertain the mediums that the message they are giving have no directly link with their own moral elevation. Otherwise, mediums will decide to give message just to enlighten spirits, for example. That's not one of the characteristics we should aim for our spiritual meetings. We should give place to suffering spirits, those that are more in need than ourselves, or like ourselves.
Wonderful. Thank you for the clarification and the final words. So let me see here. Also, Louvier is with us. Life Spiritist Society, and Marco Davis. Good. My dear Elsa, do you want to complement something?
Yes, it's common nowadays. We see people that has this faculty and they don't accept the faculty. They have fear that people could not understand them, or they are afraid to be judged different, had a negative impact in the spiritual experiences, and they don't know about Spiritism. So that's something that we could recommend them how to deal in cases like that. If someone in your family presents something like that, they are facing difficulties with seeing dead people or hearing voices or things like that, that could be a mediumship. You can go to a spirit center, free to go, free to listen, free to have fraternal assistance, talk with someone, and add in your other research regarding this topic, add the Spiritist teachings. So the person could understand that this faculty is not something that you have to fear. This faculty that comes, as Guilherme explained about the genetic means, something that not truly special, but something that you can use in your life. You can live a better life. I can say about my own, someone from my own family that has the ostensive mediumship faculty, but she didn't accept it to work on her own mediumship, to learn, to go to a spiritual center, blah, blah, blah. Nothing. what has happened? A lot of allergies, rhinitis, sneezing, or how did you call when someone is dripping, from nose, etc. That's a lot of good energy that could transform, could use for healing, to help someone that is not using this. So go and lose all this potential that could help others and can make the person that are not using this properly. It can be, of course, in different situations, afraid about a lot of things, could develop allergies that are difficult to cure. When put in practice this faculty, organized, learning how to use it. In the Spiritist Center, we have our Spiritist studies, mediumship studies, under the light of Spiritism. And this could help a lot someone. But sometimes people go to only doctors and medicals and the remedies, etc. That is okay to go, but add in your research, in your possibilities to get a better life, a better way to develop your faculty, studying Spiritism. That is something that you used to say. But what to do with the person that's not accepting? Yeah? We only can offer this possibility, can explain about Spiritist ways to deal in our life. There's something not supernatural, but it's natural faculty. That a lot of people have this faculty, not fear. And with the responsibility means study, put in practice, use your faculty, come to the Spiritist mediumship meetings, and deal, helping discarnated people that are wondering, don't know what's going on. They died, but they don't know that they already are dead. And you can help others, incarnated and discarnated ones. When we start today, I invited the discarnated ones to listen as well, because they can learn with us. They can teach us, but we can teach them as well. Yeah? Set an example, be the light. It's okay?
Something that you are saying is very important. It's kind of, we need to demystify what a mediumship is. Kardec brought to us almost 200 years ago that mediumship was organic. But now, in the recent past, we are able to identify on the DNA that we all have, there is a common characteristic for the being when they are ostensive mediums. Saying that, percentage of the population of the world, they will have the same characteristics or the same organic characteristics. So some people may have access to this level of information, some people don't. What is important is that we don't create like phantoms around that. We don't create bad images around mediumship, because that may create fear, that may prevent people to get the right information. I think we need to do our best to demystify what a mediumship is, and then people may feel more comfortable to get together, to get closer to that level of information. Because as Charles said in the beginning, how many people were burned because they were considered as witches, even here in UK, right? So we don't burn people anymore, but today a sort of discrimination may happen as well. Or you're doing something that's not positive, or you're doing something related to witchcraft or anything else. And that's not what mediumship is. So I think make that democratic and give access to people to the real information is something very important.
Yes, yes. And my dear Elsa, you mentioned something very, very important, because when you do not accept mediumship, but we do have cases in which the problem is not the person, it is the family. The family don't accept that the son or the daughter or the mom or the dad, it is a medium. So how to manage that equation?
See, Stevan, there's a mediumship in kids, mediumship in teenagers, mediumship in adults. So if the family has for example, a young boy or young girl, and showing mediumship, and continuously the same thing, saying the same thing, and the family doesn't accept, this is not good, because it's something that is there. You can't deny that something is happening. We have through the history how many mediums, including Portugal, the three little girls, the three little kids that they say, a Mother Mary, or other places in France as well, in Lourdes. So many mediumship in the history. And they, of course, was saying what the entity was saying to the population. They transmitted the messages, and nowadays they are, in inverted commas, as a saints by the church. And inside our families nowadays, in the practical things, when you have this situation in our families, not only go to the doctor or say, no, you are not seeing things, you are inventing things. This happened with me as well. And we stop saying. But if you are an adult in the family and starting developing their own mediumship, and talk with the family can do a barrier for them not going to the spiritism because it's thing with the devil. You can go there and see with your own eyes. If you are more adult, you can go, you can face it, you can talk with someone. No one will kill you, no one will put you in a jail for that. But bring the light that Jesus himself was the first medium in the world that we could see, bring an example and teachings that make the humanity divided into two parts, before and after Christ. And you have his teachings nowadays beautifully. And the ones that I see in the chosen can see in practical things, of course, is a art. Cinema is art. But bring all the teachings of Jesus in every parable and the situation that he could understand it better. And he was a medium, the things that he was doing. So why we should be different? If you have mediumship, don't fear, go to a spiritist center, talk with someone, write if you don't want to be seen, write here in the chat so we can make contact with you and give guidance for you to help you. But don't be afraid. It's something very natural. Yes, but I'm seeing only bad spirits, etc. This is something that they are calling you in order to wake up and in order to open a new door for your faith, your life. As Chico Xavier, a little boy, Divaldo Franco, a young person, and many hundreds people like that. And the Spirit Center does not exist, as Charlie said in the beginning, without a medium or without mediumship. But mediumship with Jesus means you have no fear. You are surrounded by the benefactors because the connection is mind to mind. But we are talking about moral responsibility. That is great because this connection gives strength to you, protection towards you, that you can really develop, you can really work, you can really participate in a meeting, organize the meeting after understanding all the steps that you should do in order to be a good medium, working together. It's not like that. I'm a medium now, I'll jump to a spiritist meeting and I want to work there. No, because I'm the medium, I'm the best one. No, I am the humble servant, and I do what meant to do, dedicate my time to the charitable situation in our mediumship meetings, help the ones that are wandering. They died. They don't know that they died. They are attached to families, attached to their houses, to their cars, collections, castle, money, or even attached in the Middle Ages. And we are here to help them to go to the freedom and take the freedom to go to the colonies, learn, and be enlightened, because it's the way that all of us one day will face. We are immortal beings and face our phases from the other side as a spirit, because we never die. More or less like that.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, my dear Elsa.
Oh, there's questions here.
Yeah, we do
Faye
have a
in
research.
sorry. Go.
Charles, this question from Faye. So, does Guilherme mean that the medium would be strengthened and isolate, so to speak, as an effective conduit to work effectively, regardless the higher or less evolved contacting entity? Did you get the main?
If I understand well the question, the medium would be strengthened and isolate, so to speak, as an effective conduit to work effectively regardless of the higher or less evolved contacting entity. If I understand well the question, Faye is asking that a medium should be really like a separate type of being, cannot live a normal life like anyone or things like that. That's not the case. So the medium should, by principle, never isolate himself. He should, at the opposite, rather than working alone, he should work in a group where there are other persons who can help him, assist him, who he also can help and assist. I mean, that's why we have mediumistic meetings. That's what we have mediumistic groups in order to have this solidarity amongst mediums and amongst also spiritists and mediums. So isolating, not. I think Guilherme did not mean that, if I understand well the question. Sorry. You see Chico Xavier, for instance. For me, it's one of the best examples of mediumship in the 20th century. He was never isolated. He was at the opposite, in contact with a lot of people who came asking for help, and he did help all these people the whole time. He was really, as a lot of mediums, when you are medium, you cannot say, now I'm medium and now I'm not medium. You do not decide. If you are medium 24/7, not 24/7. Some spirits may be willing to communicate through you, okay? But the faculty, once you have it, okay? Does this mean that you should isolate? I have seen that in a group in France, by the way. They were arguing, oh, our medium is so sensible that he needs always to be in a protected environment and so on. It's not a very good sign, because the medium does not have look to show to have are mastering very well his mediumship. At the opposite, he's more suffering something than mastering. And one basic fundamental principle, which applies, by the way, also to your previous question about the family, the people who have the faculty but do not want to make use of it, is the free will. Free will is a fundamental principle of the spiritist body of knowledge, and all the good spirits will always respect the free will of anyone. The only thing is, okay, we just call the attention. If after a given time you ask yourself the question, hey, I had this faculty and I was not willing to do anything with it, will this bring some joy to you, or may this bring some, you may be regretful because of it? I had a faculty that I could have used to do good things and I didn't. Okay, so that's just maybe what we will go up to there to induce the persons to think about this, but never condemn the one who doesn't want to use it. We will never ever force him to do anything. So all the mediums which are in the spiritist groups are mediums who are willing to use it. And there is another thing, very fundamental. Guilherme told at the beginning, we told about good and evil, our environment, and so on. Who is looking like is assembling. And this law of affinity is a fundamental law in the spiritual world. If you have good thoughts, you will attract good spirits, mentors, spirits which will help you, bring you joy, and so on. If you have bad thoughts, but you will attract spirits which are in line with your bad thoughts as well. And they will harm the others or even harm you. They will have bad intentions against anyone around you. So what do you want? What do we want? Do we want good spirits to help us, or do we want bad spirits to jeopardize us? So that's our choice, because this law of affinity is like this. You have bad thoughts, you have thoughts of violence, of drinking, of sex, or whatever. You will immediately attract spirits which are aligned with these thoughts, and this is unavoidable. So when a person is medium, have the mediumship mystic faculty, he will feel this even stronger because he has, how to say, a stronger feeling about the presence of the spirits around him. Okay, there are some people who are, let's say, very no ostensive mediumship. They say, and I was a part of those, I can go through hell, I don't even notice it. Today, I'm not saying the same anymore, because one day I went through hell and I noticed really that I was in hell. But okay, so that's fundamental. This mediumship faculty is natural faculty with which we can do a lot of good, but which you can also misuse. And another fundamental topic we should maybe touch a little bit today, maybe not know later, is one of the main differences between the spiritists, as you can see in Brazil or France or Latin countries, and the spiritist or the spiritualist, better saying, in Anglo-Saxonic countries, is the spiritualists are more open to the question of financial remuneration, salary for mediumship, whilst the Latins one and the spiritists in France as well, and Kardec, Leon Denis, everyone, always said it's not good to mix mediumship with money. Not good, because by the mediumship does only happen when the spirit is here. Do you pay the spirits? Money has no course, has no value at all in the spiritual world. Okay, so he come if he wants, depending on the motivations. So if the motivation of the medium is to make money by this law of affinity, what type of spirits will he attract? Certainly not good spirits. Certainly not. I don't say it's absolute like this, because good spirits, when someone is coming to see such a medium and who has merits, the good spirits, they will come even though the medium is asking for money to help that person. But they will not stay there when there is no good purpose, no good intention. So that's just, how to say, one of the difference we have, and it's also a topic which is linked to this morality linked to mediumship, because as Kardec always wrote, the best guarantee is the personal and financial disinterestedness.
Thank you, Charles. Thank you. And Guilherme, we have a lot of questions here.
Let's go.
Please, MacBean said, good evening. I have a question. What should be put attitude when we recognize that a medium is not using their faculty with responsibility, but the medium is not aware of this?
Well, as Charlie said, we all have a free will. We cannot force anyone to do anything they don't want to do. But if someone around this potential medium was able to identify that he or she is a medium and not using as it's supposed to, it means that the person himself knows a bit about what we preach on Spiritism. So I don't see any harm if the person tries to show kindly that there are other ways to do things, but we cannot force the person to do. But regardless what the person thinks, it's always interesting to know
the mechanism behind what is going on. You can always approach the person. Do you know how that's happening? Do you have any idea what is behind? And then you have an opportunity, for example, to give like the medium's book, because the medium's book is like a manual explaining to people that do not know what mediumship is, what a mediumship is. They will give enough examples to let the person think about what he or she decides to do or is doing. So I would approach in that sense. If we do have the possibility to talk about it, I would bring the subject. And if the person shows any interest, I would offer information like we have on the medium's book. So that would be my way of thinking. But I'm sure there are many different ways to approach and many different possibilities. But if you are able to identify a person in that situation, I think medium's book is the point of start. It's not a simple book to understand, especially if you don't have any information, but it is a beginning. And from there, you will find people that knows a little bit and can participate of studies or groups or whatever. But I would start by there. I hope I had the answer.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your answer. Let me see.
We could say that mediumship is a blessing, but sometimes a test. Test for everyone. Test for the ones that are really capable to work with it. And they're rejecting or for fear or this and that. No one, as Guilherme said, can oblige someone to go and be a medium. But if the faculties is ostensive and the person doesn't know how to use it, we can help them. If the person doesn't want to use, doesn't want to ask your benefactor to take this out of me. It's impossible because your life, you should understand that your life is a value for you and for everyone around you. If the spirits are counting on you to work together in a good way with responsibility and love towards others, as Jesus teaching us as the benefactors, teaching all the 5 books, the first moment that you have organized how mediumship can work, is so easy to live a life like that. As Chico Xavier and others. Easy in the inverted commas, because you have to have your responsibility, time to go, time to do, make your life in the way that you pray, you study. The only person that we will reach and develop, illuminate, is yourself, is ourselves. I started in my mediumship seeing that people, when I really was an adult, 23 years old, oh my God, no good at all. I wanted to go to Spirit Center and free from this kind of things. Once I went there, I saw so good that it was, I never left the Spirit Center anymore, because it's the way of life. Easily to live, understanding, put in practice, and be happy, contributing with Jesus to illuminate our mankind, our humanity. Sorry that I interrupt you, Stevan.
Something came to my mind. Oh, sorry. Something came to my mind, Stevan, that is, some mediumship on the beginning can be troublesome, can come with some characteristics that are a bit more challenging than others. And there are 3 things, in my opinion, that needs to be taken into account when that is happening. 1, the person needs to work in his own moral elevation. That is something that I strongly recommend. 2, study about the subject, study about mediumship, study about things that come together with mediumship. And the 3rd one, that's the most important, in my opinion, is that you need to find a reliable spirit center, a reliable group to start to develop your mediumship. Because only through the practice you start to control your mediumship. You need the theory, That's why we need the study. But without the practice, this is not something that will simply go away. No, you need to embrace, to control, to understand, and then to get into a better position. But all of it has to be followed by the moral aspects of the individual. The individual needs to work to get to be better, simply as that. And that will assist the whole scenario.
Building on what Guilherme just said is it's a natural faculty. Some people have it. And when you don't know what it is, you somehow suffer it. You don't control. You do not get it under control. So what is the best? Continuing like this, suffering from the spirit's influences and not knowing what is attracting or the good one or the bad one, or to stop them or to give peace or whatever, or to study about it, to work on ourselves to become better persons, and then to use it in order to help others and as such to help ourselves. What do you prefer?
Mhm.
Stay ignorant or build knowledge? Very simple.
I had an example, a true example. We had a person that came to our spirit center. We could clearly identify that she was having mediumistic characteristics, and after give sufficient information to the person, we offer the possibility so the person could get closer to start to learn a bit more and then to go to the practice. The person, first of all, had lots of fears about it, did not really understood what a mediumship was, and decided to go away. That was fine. We don't oblige anyone to do anything. A few months later, the same person came back. Well, my problem is still here. I'm actually a bit more complicated now. What should I do? We did the same thing again. We offer the same possibilities. But on the end, the person was really, really afraid about mediumship and decided to go away. On the third time, the person returned to the spirit center. At this time, we allow her to know about the message we had specifically for her. Because every time someone comes like that to us, we have the possibility to speak with our benefactors. And the benefactors have pointed to us that the person had to develop the mediumship. Otherwise, we will not be able to control the phenomena around her. And we told her, well, we know that for you to get a better control of what is going on with you, you need to embrace that. You need to practice. You need to start to learn how to control. And again, the person decided not to stay. And I understand there was a fear involved on this equation. There were so many questions. The person did not want to give away some of the habits they had. I mean, the person herself and the family. So I understand it all, but mediumship does not disappear like magic. And if you have, you have. If you don't know what to do, you may suffer some consequences on your day-to-day thing. So mediumship is there. The possibilities to learn how to live with and how to use that for good is there as well. But the person, as Charles says in the beginning, has the free will. If you don't want, nothing we can do. But when you decide not to use your mediumship, you're making a choice. The sensibility remains. So that doesn't mean that everyone that has a mediumship needs to work as a medium. No. But if you don't work as a medium, and if you don't improve yourself, morally speaking, then you have a recipe for a disaster, because you will be surrounded by spirits that are not that elevated, and as such, you may suffer the consequences.
Perfect. Okay. So we have a question here from Louviam. The fact that mediumship is organic can be perhaps understood by the attraction of the incarnating spirit and his perispirit to the specific genes that he needs to form the mediumistic faculty. Charles, you said like this, you shake your head, so
It's a complex question. As we explained, the researchers are only at the beginning, the genetics are now several decades of study and experience, isn't it? And sometimes the researchers are saying, okay, this person has a gene which gives predisposition to such and such disease, but doesn't develop it. Such other person has the same gene and develops it. So why some are developing, some not? So-called epigenetic, which is appearing now. The science is not even yet close to understand what is the perispirit, if it really exists or not, and even less what is the interface between the perispirit and the physical body. We know as spiritists that there is a link, that the perispirit or the spiritual body is somehow the template which is used in the embryogenesis, and when we are growing and maintaining us alive, thanks to the perispirit and thanks to other components like the vital fluid and so on. But that's another topic. But how is this done? Nobody knows. What we know today, and with a reasonable certainty, is, and what has already been observed, you have some children with a given genome. Genetically, that's a characteristic of this child. And all of a sudden, a couple of years later, some gene has changed. Where does this come from? And the spirits are very clear. This comes from the influence of the spiritual body upon the physical body. But how is this influence done? We are still far away to understanding. But Lou, you are right in making such questions, in putting this type of hypothesis or food for thought on the table, because this is how we, little by little, will understand and discover a little bit better all those things.
good. Thank you, Charles. Let me see if you have
By
still
the
have
way,
time.
just to complete these genes which are characteristic to mediumship, there is a full study done. Some of these genes which are characteristic of mediumship are particularly active in the pineal gland. But I just close the parenthesis. Things seem to converge a little bit towards something. Let's hope that something good will come out of it soon.
Yeah, let me see if we have more questions here.
In the meantime, Stevan, if you want to keep Lou interesting, do some research. If you understand that if the perispirit is the blueprint of the physical body, yes, you may be right to say that that could be originated from the spirit to the perispirit and then to the physical body, because the physical body is a mixture of your perispirit plus the genetic part from your parents. So it's a bit of melting pot, if you can say like that. So yes, it's always a possibility, and I truly encourage you to research a bit more, go in depth on the perispirit and a few other things to allow you to keep going in that direction, because I think it's very interesting.
Good. Question for our friend Rubens Casotto from Copenhagen. Shouldn't the development of moral responsibility be one of the most important points in becoming a good medium? Guilherme?
I would say yes, but it's not what we see. And if we wait to become moral elevated to practice mediumship, 99.9% of mediums will not do anything. So I would say that yes, this is a target, this is a goal we should have in our minds. We need to improve ourselves morally to become good mediums, but we should not wait until we become elevated morally to start to work on mediumship. Otherwise, we never start. In an ideal world, yes, we are very morally elevated and we are good mediums. But let's not create that as a rule. Otherwise, as I said, 99.9% of mediums may not even start. But on the other hand, when you are studying and practicing mediumship seriously, as per the Spiritism guidance, you can develop your moral as well, because you start to see so many examples during your practices, i.e., mediumship meetings, that you will reflect better before you do the same kind of mistakes. So I believe through a process like a learning curve, you then pushing yourself to be better. So I think it's like more realistic this way than waiting to become perfect before we do anything.
Wonderful.
Guilherme, you told it very well. Practicing the mediumship will help you to improve morally. So it's a win-win situation. But indeed, Kardec said, we recognize the good spiritists to the effort they do to get rid of their bad tendencies, not to be perfect. Otherwise, only God is perfect, So that's what's important, as Rubens said, is the effort we do to become better day by day. And by the way, this moral influence of the medium, Kardec dedicated a full section of the medium's book to this topic, which is section 20. So indeed, it is very important.
To someone that may never had an opportunity to participate of a mediumship meeting, during this meeting, we receive spirits that are beings like ourselves with same problems we have on earth. All sort of problems, all sort of natures come to those meetings. And we have, if I may say like that, we have a mirror in front of us. Because some of those communications, they speak about same problems we have. Alcohol, cigars, sex, gambling, anything. So in this meeting, sometimes we are facing ourselves. The communications led by one of the orientators, or one of the persons that will conduct the communication, the discussion. Sometimes we feel like, whoa, it's like he's talking to me, because we all have the same problems. One have a little bit more of this, a little bit more of that, but we all have the same problems in the end. So in this meeting, we are kind of forced to evaluate ourselves. And if you have a common practice to be every week in a meeting like that, over a period of time, you will reflect better before you start to do this type of mistakes again.
Yes, and we do have our last question from Faye. Is the moral responsibility relative to changing or adapting habits? Charles?
Yes, indeed. I can observe this on myself. There are a lot of things I was doing that I don't do anymore since I'm spiritist. And there were even some things I still continue doing as a spiritist that I don't do anymore now with a closer link to the mediumship, Yes, because you see, if you want to become better, you have to change. If you don't change, you will stay as you are. It's obvious. It looks obvious. Huh? If you don't change, if you are not willing to change or to adapt your habits, how will you become a better person? You will not. You will stay stationary, you know. So yes, the moral responsibility is directly linked to this, to changing our habits and to the good use of our free will. We are free to do whatever we want, but this liberty goes with a consequence, which is a responsibility. We can choose whatever we want, but we are responsible for the choice we did freely. So indeed, it's a very good question. Thank you, Faye.
Stevan,
Good.
before
Yeah.
before we finish, there's a comment from the bridal rack that I think is very interesting.
Yeah, I will do it before. It's very important.
Okay.
So the bridal rack. I feel very bad about receiving messages and not knowing if it is a spirit or my mind. I feel that is such a fine line in between these things, and sometimes I feel that I'm not doing something morally wrong. Guilherme, you are the
I didn't mean me, but okay. Let me try to answer here. I would start saying that a medium is a medium, and a advisor is an advisor. The product that comes through a medium, the message, for example, should be evaluated by a second person, not by the medium him or herself. Because there are two different things. There is the person that acts as a medium, and is the person that acts as an advisor that is used to evaluate that kind of thing. It's very common to a medium to have that fear. Is me or is not me? It's one of the things we hear the most. And why is that? Because nowadays, the great majority of mediums are semi-mechanical or intuitive. Saying that, part of you is there, is conscious about what you're writing or what you're speaking. It does not mean that it's you. It means that you are conscious about what you're writing. If you are an intuitive medium, for example, the message comes externally through you, through your brain, and then go over there to the paper or you speak. Saying that, you are aware of what have been said or what have been written. It doesn't mean that is you, right? I wouldn't be concerned about that at all. I think that a medium needs to work as a medium. A medium is a conduit. I think that was Faye who said that here today. You receive a message from point A, and you deliver it on point B. And if the message is there, what is the harm? If the message is positive, great. If the message is someone that's suffering, trying to explode or mention his sufferings, so be it. There's no problem with that. But I would suggest that everyone on this condition could try to locate a spirit center or a group that's familiar with this kind of activity. Because if you do that by yourself, this question may be very loud in your ears. But if you're doing it in a group, in this group, you have people with different degrees of experiences. And then you'll be able to identify better if it's you, it's not you, if it's positive, if it's not positive. Kardec says that we always need to evaluate the content of the message. And you know what kind of vocabulary you normally use. If you never use one particular word, and when you're writing, this word comes very often, so you start to realize, well, something a bit different. That's one of the ways we can start to identify if it's you, it's not you. But with the practice, you are able to identify when a message is external or when it's not external. So I think that this is something that should not stop you to practice, but I will encourage you to find a group near you that could give you the proper support.
Okay, Guilherme. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So I I have no more questions, and we are already 2 minutes over. So let me jump to our announcements. 1 second. This is wrong. Share the screen. Okay. Okay. So next week, 13th of August, we will have Marina Stiga with us, and the topic is the law of love, justice, and charity. Happy to have Marina with us again next week. Good. In September, we do have the International Spiritism Congress, Joana de Angelis. We still have some places available. Please use the QR code provided here in order to enroll if you want to attend. Also, there is a study group online which studies the books Heaven and Hell, the Gospel According to Spiritism. It's a Zoom group. In your screen, you do have the login details. Every Saturday, 10:30 a.m., Charles, Guilherme, and Munir, they have the study of the Medium's book. In order to join, use the QR code you have in front of you. Also, the Allan Kardec Study Group UK, they do studies of the Spirit's book, The Gospel According to Spiritism, every Monday from 7:15 to 8:45 p.m. This is not an online meeting, so the
Face to
address.
face.
Sorry.
Face to face.
Yes, face to face in English. That's a study in English. Okay. SSL also does have the study group, study of the books Heaven and Hell, the Gospel According to Spiritism, every Tuesday, 7 p.m. So who are in UK has no excuse to study Kardec's book. Also, all things, they have a meeting every Thursday from 6:45 to 7:45 p.m. London time. This meeting, it is organized by Solidarity Spiritist Society. If you want the login details for these weekly meetings, email Buzz and they will send you the details. Buzz newsletter is ready and to be downloaded in the Buzz website, so check the newsletter 83. Keep reading Spiritist Magazine. Also, Spiritist Radar, if you want to be more tuned what's happening around the Spiritist news, our friend Dana Sisi is happy to host you in the Spiritist Radar. And as we have modernized everything, we do have our Kardec bot on ChatGPT. Try it, and you will see what we have, what Dr. Vanessa has prepared for you guys. Keep listening Kardec Radio, and thank you for your time. Guilherme, once more, I know you're very busy. Sorry for stealing you from your family time. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Charles, once more. Elsa, thank you so much. And also, I want to say here, our Janet Duncan completed 97 years old. So we want to say a happy birthday to Janet and all her contributions to the Spiritism development in the UK. If we're here, is because of her as well. Okay, Janet? I don't know if you received this message, but may the good spirits give our love to you. Thank you so much, Janet. So thank you, Elsa. Thank you, Charles. Thank you, Guilherme. Thank you, Luvian. Thank you, Trevor. Thank you, Rubens. Thank you, Marco Davis. Marcos also helped me replying the message here. Thank you so much, Marco Davis. Bridal Hack, thank you. Luvian. Maíra Natera. Faye, Liz McBean, and I think that's it. I didn't forget anybody. Okay. So thank you so much. See you next week. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bless.